WVON is proud to present Her Wintrust, helping women make money moves. This exclusive weekly feature during the Perry Small Show is brought to you by Chicago's Bank, Wintrust Financial.
Alrighty then, it's 11:37 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON, and we are right now at my favorite way to end the week, which is with Her Wintrust. It is a wonderful, it's a wonderful segment that we do here to inform you. And joining me today is a very innovative person. Sherry Williams Franklin has spent the past 2 decades as a leader in sales marketing for mid-large size manufacturing companies across the country, primarily focused on custom solutions and taking products from concept to commercialization. She has her BA in Bachelor of Arts in Speech Communication with a minor in journalism, as well as a master's in business administration. And she's put all of her skills together, and now she is the founder and CEO of Life Snapshot, and a digital estate planning expert that has developed a technology platform that helps families organize and securely store personal asset and final wishes information so their loved ones can easily find them while dealing with grief. Join me in welcoming Sherry Williams Franklin. Hello, Sherry. How are you today?
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm well.
Let me just tell you, this is probably one of the smartest things I have ever heard of in my life. And you're not an attorney, are you?
I am not an attorney. I am someone that has experience after going through a challenging loss.
Well, tell us about that loss.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just say thank you for having me. You've been such an amazing media fixture here in Chicago, from print to radio. So I'm just honored to be with you today. So let me get that out the way.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No, absolutely. But for me, I really believe that personal experience kind of move us into our purpose. So I'm not an attorney, but I'm really no different. My sister passed away in 2015 at the age of 36.
Oh, wow.
She was, she was single, so finalizing her life really became my responsibility, and it was overwhelming, and really the first time that I found myself having to finalize someone's affairs. Mm-hmm. And, we were
Let me tell you, it's terrible. I mean, when my brother died suddenly, it was, and he was taking care of my mother as the caretaker. My life changed in a nanosecond. And because he didn't know or just was a spiteful son of a gun, he put everything in my dementia's mother as a beneficiary, to the house, to everything.
Right.
And I'm like, and his bank accounts, everything. So when he died, before my mother died, and I had brought my Aunt Annabelle to live with me, I made sure I got all of my affairs in order because I didn't want to have to go through that again. I just didn't. It is, and then my mother and aunt, they died within 2 days of each other.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, it was crazy. So you have this experience with your sister. Had she been suffering from a long illness, or was it?
No. This was a sudden death, right? And so she wasn't sick. We had just done, lunch together 2 days prior. I had spoken to her earlier in the day. She seemed fine. And so this happens, right? And to your point, it's very much your life changes in a nanosecond as you've communicated, and it's overwhelming. And I found myself, at her home just a few days after she passed away there, looking for paperwork that was being asked of us by the funeral home. And we're in her home, and we're going through her drawers, and we're looking under the mattress, and we're, in her closets. And as you know from your own experience, this feels very uncomfortable, right?
I mean,
it feels
you didn't even know what kind of bank accounts that she had.
No, we had no idea where to start. And so when you're in someone's home and you're looking for, these physical documents, it's an overwhelming and uncomfortable activity to be doing immediately after a loss. And it feels like a complete invasion of privacy. And nonetheless, we're there and we're searching for information. We're struggling to find things. We're randomly calling insurance companies to determine if they have a record of her as a policyholder.
Really?
And yes. And in the end, we came up empty-handed. So, the short version of what my experience was and kind of how Life Snapshot came to be, it really was birthed out of the most difficult experience in my life. And I was looking for a solution that would benefit my family and eliminate this concern for us in the future. And I couldn't find anything. And so I decided to create something that would bring continuity and really solve this issue for families going forward.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Why did you call it Life Snapshot?
The reason I like the name is because what we're trying to do is really provide your loved ones with a snapshot of your life. It contains all of the things that they really need as a roadmap to get them started, to point them in the right direction in order to finalize your life. And so that is why we came up with the name Life Snapshot.
So tell our listeners exactly what Life Snapshot is.
So Life Snapshot essentially is a technology platform, 100% automated technology platform that, as you mentioned, that helps families organize and securely store personal asset and final wishes information. And so the way that the platform works is that we ask you a couple of questions, two in particular, about your asset categories, and our system will customize the back end based on those answers. From there, we're able to consolidate your asset information. So what are assets? A bank account, your pension, your 401k, any properties that you might have. If you're a business owner, your ownership percentages and details about that, vehicles, all of this information, into a single report that is then encrypted and safely stored online with any relevant files that you have. So we're kind of a digital storage vault. So we not only help consolidate all of this information, but we also have a way for you to store any relevant documents that you would also want your loved ones to have. So if you have a will or medical advance directives or a life insurance policy or even power of attorney documents that you want on file for your loved ones to easily access, then our platform is the right solution for you. Is this
a first step that you have for if you have to have legal representation from an attorney? Is this like a first step, or does this take out the estate attorney out of the equation?
So our intention is not to eliminate a estate planning attorney. We do not create, wills or accounts. That's not what the platform does.
Okay.
We want to house all of the information that you may or may not have with an attorney. So who has access to all of those documents that you spend time creating? So our platform will house that. But let's assume that you never meet with an estate planning attorney. You still have assets, and you still need to have a plan for them. You can easily sit down at home, take 15 minutes, answer our 2 questions. Our platform will consolidate will create that custom back end for you. It'll ask you, okay, do you have a bank account? Do you have a vehicle? If so, do you have a loan on that account? If so, who's the lender? So it asks you some really quick questions that you're able to answer. And it puts everything into a single report so that if you never sit down with an estate planning attorney, and let me be clear, 58% of adults have not conducted any form of estate planning, and that number increases when you look at minority communities. It's closer to 70 when you look at Black and Hispanic Americans. And so I wanted to create a solution that would enable us to have a self-serve at-home technology to solve for this. And it's as little as $14.99 a month. So it's available for anyone's budget so that you can now identify designated contacts that you want to have contact and have communication with if something were to happen to you.
You're going to be a billionaire.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, but really our goal is to just help families and bring some level of continuity so that they don't have to go through what we went through and what you've now communicated that you went through. And the one thing that makes us different, first of all, there are tons of vaults in the marketplace. We're not just a storage vault. Obviously, our technology is doing a little more than that. It's consolidating all of this great information, putting it in a streamlined report that can be shared with your loved ones. But the second element of that is not just the technology. We have a support system. So we have a support specialist team that actually conducts monthly well-being checks to ensure that in the event a member becomes incapacitated or has reached the end of life, that their information is immediately shared with their designated contacts, no matter where those contacts live. Mm-hmm. So there's no frantic searching, there's no missing information, there's no lingering questions. Our system is built to solve for that.
Now, I have probably the best estate planning attorney in the world. That's Ted London. And besides that, this is so strange. One day I sat down and wrote down just what this is all about. Put down all my assets, the bank accounts. I didn't put the beneficiaries down, but I put the bank accounts, the house, the car, just anything that is an asset, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's written down on a piece of paper, which is, fine, but this makes more sense.
It does make more sense. One of the questions that we're often asked is this legal? And we're like, yes, it's legal. And let's be clear, most life insurance providers or funeral homes recommend that families complete what's called a final wishes planner. So that's obviously a planner that contains all of their final wishes upon death, but it also asks them to document their personal asset information, right, insurance policies, and key contacts. And the problem, as you've just communicated, is that it's a piece of paper or a booklet that can be easily lost.
Right.
And everyone doesn't feel comfortable putting all of the details down on that piece of paper. So Life Snapshot provides a more robust digital version of that you can update at any moment. It's essentially a banking system for your assets, and our platform is date stamped. So whenever you update any elements, upload anything new, there's a record of that so that your loved ones will know, okay, this will was put in 2020. Okay, this information was uploaded at this time. This note that she wrote to us was date stamped for this. So there are really helpful elements that will at least help them validate the authenticity and the timestamp for when this happened.
What 2020's disasters have taught us how to properly plan for the future. And, you talk about that, and you are absolutely right. Yeah. Especially with COVID-19.
Yeah.
You could lose every single one of your, God forbid, of your family members in a nanosecond.
Right.
This is a brilliant, and since many of us are at home, take the time to do this. Now, what do we do when you've got an elderly Black aunt or grandmother who don't believe in telling their business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do we get it through their mind, right? You know, grannies and
I
stuff.
love this. I love that you're saying that. It's so funny. I get asked that question all the time.
I know. I mean,
because I think it's exactly what I said earlier, and that's why there's 70% of minority groups that aren't doing any estate planning, because we don't want to have these conversations. And it's interesting because there's a study that comes out, I think it's just about every 2 years, by the Conversation Project, and what they found is that 92% of Americans say that it's important to have these, end-of-life discussions, but only 32% of us actually do it, right? So I think that further amplifies the struggle that we have with communicating and really talking about end of life and creating, what I like to call some positive pre-death planning practices. And so I think what has to happen, and what a lot of our members are doing, is they're buying plans for themselves, they're buying it for their parent, their grandparent, and they're going over to their houses or getting them on the phone, and they're just starting to put stuff in. And keep in mind, to your point, you've got a lot of family members, they're up there in age, some of them are struggling with dementia. You better start to capture that sooner than later, because the time is limited in order to get the information from them. And you're going to have to be the one to stay on top of that, and that's okay. It's not that difficult. Again, our platform is desktop and mobile friendly, so you can do everything from your phone. You don't have to sit in front of a computer. You can take a picture of a document, upload it right there.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be complicated. That's the point.
Well, that's why I said this is a brilliant idea. It's a business. You have started a digital business, and so you don't have a lot of overhead, do you?
So I have a team of 8. So we are a real company.
Okay, all right.
So,
no, that's great. All right.
Yeah.
So this is. Oh my goodness! And the people can probably work from home. Did you get a brick and mortar office or anything?
So we have an office. We're located at 333 South Wabash, Suite 2700 in downtown. So we do have office space.
Ooh, fancy.
But we also have right up block from Michigan. Yeah. So we are a real company.
That is wonderful.
But we're remote. With COVID, half the team is remote, and so when you're in tech, you want to get the best people throughout the country. So we've got team members around the country as well. So yes, we're a mobile team. We're kind of in and out as we need to be. But no, we've got a group of really strong cybersecurity experts. We've got the support specialist team, the programmers and developers, and we're really proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish.
I just can't say it enough. This is probably one of the most brilliant ideas and businesses at this time. When did you start your company?
Yeah, so I founded my company in 2017, and we launched last year, last November, and then we did a soft launch last November, and then did a hard launch in March. 2 weeks before the pandemic, and we didn't know the pandemic was coming.
Right.
It wasn't on our radar.
Right.
So initially we launched, and then we kind of pulled back because we said, oh my God, we don't want to seem opportunistic. We've been working on this for 5 years.
Right.
What in the world,
right.
The timing of it all. But we started to, let people know, a little bit more that we're out here. We've gotten celebrity clients to sign up already. We had to shift our pricing a little bit because, we started off with an annual price. We wanted to adjust that and have a monthly offering just to deal with the income changes of potential customers throughout the pandemic.
Right.
We also added some larger plans. We had a couple people say, I just want to pay for life. I don't want to have to sign up every year. I don't want to have to sign up, to think about it. I just want to have it. And so we've added a couple options. So we've got something for everyone, again, as simple as $14.99 a month all the way up to a lifetime plan. So there's options for everyone.
You know what? I mean, in your bio, you were talking about the work that you did. You spent the last 2 decades as a leader in sales marketing for mid-large size manufacturing companies across the country, primarily focused on custom solutions and taking products from concept to commercialization. This is oh my goodness! You have what a great talent, and how creative this was for you to come up with this.
Thank you so much. No, my last role, I was just a vice president of sales and marketing for a Chicago-based manufacturing company, leading a team of sales, project managers, and design engineers. So for me, R&D has been the fabric of my career for 20 years. So doing something like this, technology, it's a different space for me, but it's not a different approach, right? R&D is R&D. Commercialization, taking a concept and commercializing is kind of second nature for me. It's what I've done my entire career.
Well, what is R&D?
Research and development.
Research
and development, taking, an idea from a sketch napkin all the way to seeing it on a store shelf. So I've worked for large companies. My first company out of college was Pactiv Corporation. That's the parent company of Hefty, Easy Foil, Cordite. So I worked there for almost 10 years, started off in a customer service role, moved all the way up to be leading a segment for them, a business segment for them, and spent almost 3 years in their R&D department launching products on a regular basis. So this is what I do.
Well, incredible. So you've had this wonderful career.
Yes, ma'am.
You've had a great career. When did you decide that you wanted to do something like this? Oh, after your sister passed, when did you say, you know what, let me conceptualize something where the average person does not have to go through what I did? What drove you? What gave you the idea? What was it?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, that experience changed me completely. Mm-hmm. My sister and I were 11 months apart.
Wow.
She was a year older than I, and so I never knew life without her, right? And so I spent probably a year grieving that loss because it's just overwhelming, and I found myself really
Sherry,
bothered.
I've got to run. I'd love to have you back on again sometime. It's Snapshot. They can just check it out.
LifeSnapshot.com. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much.